Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to head back up to Eskilstuna once again, and we're going to return to a brewery who I hadn't had anything from for a couple of years until a couple of weeks ago. But this is a brewery who I think are very good when it comes to traditional beer styles, and I think this one should be a really quite interesting beer. I do enjoy this style actually. So we're going to return to Eskilstuna Ölkultur once again, and we're having a taste of the Eskilstuna Blonde today. So as the artwork suggests on this one, this is a Belgian style blonde beer and it comes in at 5.5% ABV. Now I'm a big fan of Leffe. It's one of my kind of go-to beers, even though I don't really drink outside of the beers that I review for you here on the channel. You can never go wrong with a little bit of Leffe Blonde in my opinion. So really curious to see how this brewery do it. I had a really awesome Scotch ale from these guys a couple of weeks back, and I've had a few good German beers from them before as well, so particularly curious to see how they do at a Belgian beer as well. But this was one of the beers that was released on the 2nd of May 2019 through the not through the small parties, through the kind of local and small assortments that Systembolaget release every month. So really looking forward to trying this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Eskilstuna Ölkultur. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Eskilstuna Ölkultur then. So Eskilstuna Ölkultur was founded by the homebrewers Arto Ukkara, Kauko Lakkanen, Thomas Humbla, Bosse Gustafsson and Anders Olsson. But these guys met at the Swedish Homebrewing Championships, and they wanted to give Eskilstuna a brewery once again. But together they managed to rent a building in the town centre and establish a beer bar, which was opened at Christmas back in 2003. Once the bar began to do really well, they thought they should begin to brew for themselves, and in 2006 they officially founded Eskilstuna Ölkultur, basically Eskilstuna beer culture if you want to translate it into English. But in 2008 they moved to a larger premises because they outgrew the original brewery and bar, and they were helped by an army of volunteers to get the new premises up and running. But they received their brewing equipment from China in September of 2008, and they've continued to expand their brewing capacity and the range of beers that they produce ever since. In 2018 they brewed around 130,000 litres of beer, and today it's Anders Olsson who is the main man at the company. He was the main brewer for a period of time. They do have someone else in to brew the beer now, and Arto Ukkara is also involved in the business side of things. I think the other guys that were involved at the beginning have taken a little bit more of a back seat. But this is quite a prolific brewery. They brew a whole variety of different styles. That's the one really cool thing about this brewery, I have to say, or the particularly cool thing about this brewery, I guess I should say. They do try their hand at a variety of different styles, and you saw me review the 12 a couple of weeks back, which was a Scotch ale, and I have to say they did a pretty damn good job of that, and I've had some good German beers from these guys over the years as well, so particularly curious to see how this Belgian one turns out. But you can go onto their Untappd page and you'll see a whole host of different beer styles produced there. So hopefully I can get up to Eskilstuna at some point and actually have a look at it, because they've got their pub is in a really nice old building, and it's meant to have some really good food and things like that as well. So that's somewhere that I definitely need to hit up when I make it a little bit further north once again here in Sweden. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about Eskilstuna Ölkultur just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, of course, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that, and that'll keep you up to date with all the latest goings on there. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, this one is a 5.5% Belgian style blonde ale. And it's supposed to be pretty good, this. It says on the back here, en lysk belgisk ale med mjukt maltig smak och låg beska. So basically a light Belgian beer with a nice malty, a nice kind of sweet malty taste, and a little bit of a bite to it, I guess you could say. A Belgian blonde is an excellent introduction to Belgium's rich beer world, for those who like to drink light lagers, and also for those who are a little bit more brave. Enjoy the malty thing with this, and enjoy it. It has a little bit of fruity quality in it. There's a little bit of a caramel flavour as well, some honey apparently, nice and honey sweetness in the finish, it's saying. A blonde beer is a good beer for food, and it fits even just, you know, drinking it by itself, basically, bra på egen hand. So yeah, basically this one, they've got a nice little blurb on the back there, and it tells you a little bit about the brewery in Swedish as well, which I've just kind of gone through with you. But yeah, this one is best before the 2nd of January 2020. But yeah, plain bottle cap on this one, and as you can see, kind of similar in the style of artwork to the other ones, but obviously a little bit more distinctive because of the Belgian flag on there. But nicely presented beer, this one, and you can see I do like the little badge for this brewery. You can see that's a little outline of their pub building that they have. So yeah, without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. We can get rid of the brewery notes now. So yeah. Nice little bit of smoke on the opening there, and we'll get it out and into the glass. So yeah, this one's really clear actually. Sometimes it just depends with these beer. Ooh, and actually the grassiness in this beer, it really has an appley, peary, grassy ester to it, this one, as you open it up. You will notice that out of this beer straight away. But as you can see with this one, it's poured a lovely kind of pale, almost Pilsner, straw colour beer, this one. Sometimes, as I say, you can get these beers being just a little bit more hazy than that. But yeah, it looks very, very nice, and you know, kind of what you would expect actually for a blonde beer. There is a degree of transparency to this one. It has a little bit of a hazy quality. You can see there was about a 3/4 finger of a frothy white head on this one. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there. But you know, overall, it does actually look pretty nice, I have to say, and pretty much what you would expect from a Belgian style blonde ale. So yeah, let's take a closer look at that aroma then and just see how we get on with this beer. Yeah, it smells pretty nice, this one. So straight away you're going to pick up that Belgian yeasty note out of this one. The Belgian beers of course are very yeast forward, that's what they're all about. But yeah, you get this nice sort of wheaty, white bready quality to it. There's a little bit of the thicker, doughy kind of note sitting in on top of that. A little touch of that kind of banana and clovey spice coming out of this one too, actually. But to me, this one is quite light and mild in that character compared to some of the other ones that you would get. But then the Belgian blonde is almost like the baby of the Belgian beer world. You know, it is quite low in alcohol content. I think the only other one that's kind of around this level would be the wit beers and sometimes the saisons actually. But yeah, to me this one smells really nice and quite fresh. It has pretty much everything you would expect from a Belgian blonde beer in that sense. So yeah, the malt base is nice. You've got a little bit of a kind of, it's more of a biscuity, grainy note that's coming out of this one. It smells a little bit like a kind of caramel wafer, a sort of caramel honey sauce kind of thing. It's got that biscuity wafer quality to it, a little bit like McVitie's digestives actually. And again, this is something that you would expect from a Belgian blonde beer. But there's a nice hoppiness to this one, a little bit of a kind of almost noble earthiness to it. I would wonder if they've used some German hops in here, to be honest, but you can get Belgian hops that are quite similar to the German ones, to be honest. Although the Belgian ones I think are a little touch more herbal than the likes of the Hallertau and the Tettnanger from Germany. I always remember the Belgian hops being somewhere in the middle of the English and the German hops, to be honest. But yeah, it does smell as if it's got a little bit of like Hallertau or maybe not Pearl. I don't think it's spicy enough for like Pearl or Hersbrucker or something like that. But it does smell like a little bit like a kind of Tettnanger or Hallertau noble hop that's in this beer, because you've got that nice floral grassy quality to it. You have got a little bit of a herbal note in there as well, but some nice fresh grassiness too. on the fruity side of things. There's a little bit of that slightly lemony, grassy kind of thing, but to me, this is mainly a sort of peary, appley ester coming out of this one. It maybe has a little bit of a slightly sultana-ish note in there as well, actually, like a dried kind of white, greeny grape sort of thing. So yeah, yeah, as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck in. This one has pretty much everything you would expect of the Belgian blonde style in terms of its aroma, and as I said, this is one of the things I like about this brewery, is that they do tend to be pretty good when it comes to the traditional beer styles, if you like. So really curious about this one now, even more so than when I started the video. So let's have a taste of this beer then. This one is the Eskilstuna Blonde from Eskilstuna Ölkultur, a Belgian style blonde beer coming in at 5.5% ABV. Let's get stuck into this one. Slange, skull. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I mean, the thing with the Belgian blonde, it is one of the, it's definitely one of the more drinkable beers you're going to find from Belgium, stating the obvious. And this one, I'm finding that this one does actually become sweeter. It's sweeter than I remember Leffe being, of course, and it's inevitable. You're going to the stereotypical Belgian blonde beer is Leffe. You know, when you talk about another Belgian blonde brewed somewhere else, the one you are going to compare it to is Leffe, of course. But yeah, this is nice. As I say, this is a style that I really quite enjoy, but I don't get to drink too many of them, so it was quite cool to come across a Swedish brewery that had a go at this one. But to me, this one gets a thumbs up. I really do quite like this beer. I don't know if it will only be a kind of one-off brew, if you like, but in terms of being an example of the style, it is really nice, and I wouldn't expect anything less from Eskilstuna Ölkultur, because like I said, these guys do the traditional beer styles pretty damn well, I have to say, and they try a whole host of different things, so in that regard, they're a very strong brewery in my opinion. I really want to go and visit their pub at some point. But yeah, that's pretty nice, this one. It has everything you'd expect, and it pulls the style off really well. Just to give you a summary before we break the flavour down more, this is a good example of a Belgian blonde beer. So with this one, you'll feel straight away, you can feel the sort of white bready, malty quality, that just blankets the middle of your tongue. The further that you go into the aftertaste with this one, the more the sweetness starts to creep in a little bit. There is a little touch of a kind of caramelly note to this one, and the biscuity flavours really start to linger in there as well. The yeasty quality is there. It does have a little bit of that doughy, yeasty note to it. And again, for me, that starts to come out a little bit more in the aftertaste. You can pick it up a bit in the earlier part of the beer, right enough. But yeah, you definitely can pick it up a little bit earlier in the flavour with this beer. I just like, this is one of these beers where it's all about how everything kind of goes together. I mean, the Belgian blonde is not the it's not the boldest of styles, if you like, but it's like the German Dunkel. I really enjoy the German Dunkel as well. It's all about how the flavours fit together, and it's just a really nice, easily drinkable style, this actually. But like you say, this one gets sweeter the further you go into the flavour, and you get those McVitie's digestive sort of flavours out of it. They spread all across the tongue actually. In the very centre of your palate, it's a slightly sweeter kind of caramel note there, and the biscuity notes kind of come out the further you go away from the centre of the palate there. But you've got that nice sort of white bready, almost wheaty quality that just blankets the middle of your tongue. On top of that, you start to get more of the kind of doughy, bready, yeasty quality that you would expect of Belgian beers. There's a little touch of that banana flavour in there, and a little bit more of the clovey spice, to be honest with you. But it's not overpowering. It's more like a subtlety in this beer, rather than being one of the kind of mainstay components, if you like. But this is definitely one of the sweeter Belgian blondes that I can think of that I've had. But yeah, I have to say, Eskilstuna Ölkultur, once again, they've done a really nice job when it comes to these traditional beer styles. They've really done an awesome job with this, so big thumbs up to them for that. The way that the malt base goes together in this one, along with the yeasty flavours, if we want to be technically correct, is really nice. So yeah, they've done a damn good job with this one. If you like this style, if you're a fan of Leffe, have a go at this and see how they've pulled this one off. I think they've done a good job with this beer, actually. So yeah, on the hoppy side of things then, pretty much what you'd expect. Nice little bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate. There's a smooth and almost slightly sweet earthiness. As you come further forward from that, you get a little touch of a herbal quality coming out of it, and then as you move further forward towards the front corners of the palate there, it's a little bit more sort of floral and aromatic. I wonder if there's a bit of Czech Sats in here, to be honest. It could well be the Czech hops rather than the German ones, right enough. It could be a little bit of that, actually. And to be honest, yeah, because the Czech hops will give you a little bit more of a herbal quality. So yeah, it could well be that just a little bit of a Czech Sats hop in this. But round the very front curve of the palate, you've got a little bit more of a lighter kind of grassy note to the beer, and then behind the front curve of the palate, that's where you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy, fruity esters start to come out of the beer. Yeah, and again, the fruity side of this beer, it's got a sort of appley, peary, more of a peary type ester to it, actually, but it's got a little bit of that lemony, grassy kind of citrus that you would expect from the hops too. But I like how the flavour in this one goes together. Again, this is one of these beers where it's all about how these flavours sort of intertwine and mix together, but I've repeated it a few times, they have done a bloody good job with this beer. So yeah, it'd be a shame if this is only brewed once, because it is a pretty nice example of the style, actually. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, this is definitely a mid-bodied beer. The carbonation is quite smooth. It's got a nice clean mouthfeel to it. It's got a little bit of an oiliness, which helps bring out some of the sweetness in the malt base. But really, it's a very clean, easy drinking beer, this one, with just a little bit more oily quality to it. There's a nice little touch of hoppy bitterness. I think you're looking about 30 IBUs with this beer. It's not going to blow the head off you in terms of its IBUs. Malt base and the yeasty qualities, of course, because they come in there. Quite smooth underneath, but the beer really does sweeten up the further that you go into it, and there is just a nice little bit of a juicy, fruity note to this one. The more that I think about it, I want to say there's a little touch of a kind of sultana note in there as well. It's almost like a kind of white dried grape, actually, rather than the kind of straight up red ones, if you like. Maybe even a little touch of apricot or something like that in this beer too, actually. But yeah, nice juicy fruitiness to this one on the end, and it's a little bit sweet into the aftertaste too. But overall, a really nice example of the Belgian blonde style, and I hope this is one that kind of sticks around for a little while. Eskilstuna Ölkultur are a kind of small scale brewery in the grand scheme of things, but they certainly do try a lot of different styles, and they tend to pull them off pretty well, and here's yet another example of a beer that fits into that category. So yeah, let's just leave it at that for this one. A really nice beer. If you like Leffe and you like the Belgian blonde style, this one is one that you are definitely going to enjoy. So really cool to find this on the kind of small release beers that we're getting every month in Sweden. We do get a good variety through Systembolaget, actually, so I really do like that. But yeah, once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comments section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Eskilstuna Ölkultur as well, and I'm sure we'll return to them in the fairly near future. I will see if I can get a hold of one of their German style beers and review that for you on the channel as well. But thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys very soon. Make sure do check out my social media and have a go at this beer if you get the chance, and definitely some of the other ones too. Until the next time, slide you just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Skål, the Belgian blonde from Eskilstuna Ölkultur. Cheers.